Good morning, Lori.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Hey,
Right. It's nice to meet you.
I imagined what you might look like. Very cool. Yay. So it worked out with your travel and everything for you to just postpone a little bit, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. And I had planned this trip. We went down into the desert to do a work project for the Utah Wilderness Alliance. And so I had already made that commitment. And then this came along and I thought, oh, I'm going to just see if I can do it. So.
Okay. Well, there are three other people who are local, and we're all doing we did our orientation in person.
Yep.
And then today so it's going to be kind of a mix, like, so they may end up watching this later, but the week one is joined, and then the week two is separate, and then the week three is joined. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
We may have a couple more people join, or we may not.
Okay. So yeah, today I'm starting.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Great.
I'm excited.
So I wanted to start out with a little meditation. If you do you have find a comfortable place to sit and just so wherever you are, whether you're watching this later or watching this in real time, you're gonna want to pause if you need to do something, find another seat or whatever, but you want to find a way to sit where you pull your pull your flesh out from underneath you and sit right up on your sitting bones. I'm on a squishy couch right now, so I'm gonna get a better. And then you want to just try to be even and comfortable so that you're not in some kind of a weird position. Your spine is elongated, and we'll just close the eyes. Or you might even just look around the room first, just to kind of orient yourself in space for proprioception. Just kind of look around and see what's going on behind you, above you, below you. And then let yourself settle into a place where you close the eyes, relax the jaw, relax your face in general. Relax your belly. And just start to notice your natural breath. Notice where you feel the breath. Notice the quality of your breath. And we're going to bring some awareness to the pelvis as a whole, the bottom of the pelvis, which would be your pelvic floor, the sides of the pelvis, which you could call your hips, the front would be your low belly, the back would be your lower back. And then if we were going to call the top, I guess we would say that could be your waist. Or we could say that, go even further up and call that the diaphragm above that. So just imagine when you breathe now that you're going to take your breath low into the pelvis, and imagine that the pelvis, rather than being a box, because it's not a box, it's soft and fleshy, that we're going to expand because it can expand in all directions. You may even notice when you take a very deep breath and it's a low, deep breath, you may even notice that the pelvic floor expands slightly downward. And then when you breathe out, it retracts and goes back to its normal shape. And experiment with that a few times, just breathing in, expanding into the pelvis, the belly, the lower back, out to the sides, into the hips. Keep doing that, and it will eventually start to feel kind of normal, hopefully. Relax your legs. And just have an awareness now of your feet, wherever they are, if they're on the earth, on your floor, if they're underneath you. Notice what your body feels like as it comes into contact with whatever you're sitting on. And we're just noticing that contact, noticing that boundary where you end and something else begins. And then continuing to stay full and fully alive and aware of the pelvis as you breathe in. We're going to also just notice now as you breathe that your heart fills up. The rib cage fills up, not just in the front, but also in the back and in the sides. So if it's possible to do both, notice breathing in and that breath going down into the pelvis. And then as you continue to breathe in, it expands into the heart. And while you're doing this, it's just a note, it's totally normal if thoughts are coming up, if you're thinking of things, just when you notice it, just try not to stay wrapped up in a thought process and instead just bring your awareness back to what does it feel like to breathe in my body? What am I noticing in my body? Allow the space around your eyes to be relaxed. And again, the jaw soft. Back of the neck soft. Front of the neck relax. Now we're just going to imagine that within you, within your body, in this space that is you, you're going to imagine a golden white light. Imagine that golden white light just filling you as you breathe. Imagine that that light is growing within you and that that is part of you, that this golden white light as you breathe, expanding within you, is moving to all parts of your body, healing, And just noticing where it goes. Noticing how it expands when you breathe in. Imagine that this place is this golden light, and this place of being where you might be right now is more your natural state than the other state of bustling about in life. Just let yourself rest in this place, soaking it in with each breath. You may start to feel a natural sense of gratitude bubbling up. And if you do, then cherish that, soak that up. And if you don't, then maybe you can just make that happen by bringing something to mind that you have a deep appreciation for. And as you really allow yourself to feel that sense of gratitude, it grows and grows, just like that light. So now within this place, just breathing in a natural way, I'm going to ask you to just think about what expands you. What in life gives you this kind of a feeling? What in life gives you this sense of expansion and openness and love and compassion and just an overall sense of super positive outlook? Glass overflowing. And in a very simple way, just things in your life that bring you that feeling of yes. May you feel relaxed and comfortable, and your body is at ease. A feeling of relaxing into life, trusting the flow. And just noticing like what comes up for you, like what things are coming to mind as you think about that. And again, we'll bring awareness back to the body. You can place a hand on your low belly or a hand on your heart or one on each. Just having a sense of gratitude and respect for this body that you inhabit and claim as your own. For this experience, for this day, and for your own personal, beautiful path of growth. And then just start to like move your body a tiny bit, just moving your shoulders, maybe moving your hips a little bit, spine undulating some. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's just getting a tiny bit of movement back in the body. And then when you're ready, as you begin to open your eyes, let your eyes look downward away from the screen. Just blink them a couple of times. And again, notice your surroundings without necessarily looking at the screen, maybe just looking around and seeing what's there, noticing what pops out to you this time, what's calling your attention. And give yourself a couple, just a moment or two to do what you need to do. Get a drink of water, stretch. Whatever you need to do here. And yeah, so now I will, you are welcome to unmute yourselves at any point and chime into anything. I guess we'll start out, I just want to see if either of you would like to share anything about what expands you or your experience with that meditation we did. Hi, Vicky. Sorry, you came in the middle of that and I wasn't able to welcome you in that moment. But hold on, you're muted. There you go.
All right. Sorry, I was late. I forgot until I got your text.
That's okay. All right. Glad you made it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Either of you or want to share anything?
No, I'm not really doing the full deal yet. I'm just avoiding the foods on the avoid list.
Yeah.
And I have listened to one of your meditation yesterday, so I'm really excited to start. I just don't want to start and then leave town. So
yeah, that is okay. And I mean, you're still, I think you're starting, but you're gonna have 4 phases.
right.
Instead of 3. Yeah. Because
And I've been eating some of the recipes, from the recipe book. So yeah, it's been good so far. I'm excited about it.
yeah. Awesome. I'm gonna ask again just to make sure before we move on. Do either of you want to share anything about what expands you right now? What, or anything that
I don't really have an answer to that right now.
Okay. That's fine. Lori, you're unmuted, but if you're talking, I'm not hearing you.
No, I haven't said anything.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me
I saw
now?
your mouth move a little bit, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, just in my life, what expands me a lot, and I just feel so grateful to be able to do this, is I'm very involved with my community and helping people and organizations, as nonprofits. We have lots of nonprofits. So that really has just given me absolute satisfaction of knowing that I've made, an effort and can maybe impact someone's life. And so I really, at this point in my life, I feel just so lucky because, I have the time and it is just really rewarding. So anyway, if anything, I'm doing too much, but again, I want to, and got the energy, and I am just really complete in that.
Yeah, helping others. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, I'm not sure if everyone heard this at any point in time, so I'll say it again because I think it's so important. One of the things about doing this cleanse that's so important is really about the relationship we have with ourselves. And getting to know ourselves on a deeper level, getting to take care of ourselves on a different level, and just establishing a really loving relationship with ourselves, because that is something I think that is diminished as a whole in, normal exterior life in the world. We think about others so much, and that's lovely that you're doing that. So I'm not minimizing that, but we oftentimes forget about ourselves, and then we might not notice it in the beginning, but over time that leads to resentment and depletion, and then we're not really fully able to ever love another person if we don't have that within ourselves, because relationships bring up all kinds of triggers and things. And so in whatever ways that we don't love ourselves, we're kind of incapable of loving another person. So this is a way for us to be able to serve better, when we're looking at it from that perspective. But something that's just so important, I think, is like just recognizing ourselves with love. Like it's the way that a lot of times, even the way that we hear ourselves in our heads talk to ourselves can be like really mean. And so we have to like start to look at, oh wow, I was beating myself up, and why, and is that serving me? Because if we talk to ourselves like that, then it's just something we want to address. So being aware this whole first week, whenever anyone is starting, it's like, I think that is the most important piece, is just awareness. Just this is all about starting to slow down so that we can hear a little bit better, so we can listen within a little bit better and get in touch with what our bodies need, what our minds need, what is really more necessary and going to make us more resilient in life, so that we can live longer in a harmonious way, not in like a just drudgery kind of way. By the way, quick note, I have 2 children. One of them would not like me calling him a child, but he's 14. But you may hear some external noise as they like move around or something. So that's, everything. We're obviously focused on food, that is a big piece, but it's not just what we eat, it's how we eat. One of the pieces, like in one of the documents that if you were in person, I printed out for you, but it's on the list of things, is giving you some good eating habits. And so it just, things like sitting down, like not eating on the go, the importance of not snacking, like one of the things that we're doing as we create more space and notice is really get in touch with your hunger. So for instance, we don't want to eat if we're not hungry. That feeling of hunger is it's really important. It's a marker for us. It's like a flag, just like when you have pain in your body, it's telling you something. So the pain in your stomach, or depending on how hungry you are, it might not be extreme pain, but that feeling is your body communicating like, I'm ready, and that's a good thing. Like back when I didn't know about it, I used to think of as a hunger pain as like pain, more like, I need to eat something really fast. But now when I have a hunger pain, I think to myself, yes, my Agni is strong. And you can let it go for a little while. You don't want to let it go for a long time, but you can like feel it building up as maybe you're still cooking your food and you're hungry, or you're going to eat in 30 minutes and you can think to yourself, wow, I'm going to really digest this food well because I'm ready to eat. My body wants it and needs it. one of the things I think that's one of the things a lot of people lose at some point is, I mean, I know from experience with people, the Agni starts to get low and appetite doesn't feel as strong a lot of times. So that's an indication that you need a reset. You need like to take some space, maybe more space in between meals, maybe that cut out snacking. If you were snacking, maybe skip dinner one day, and see like, if you're not hungry, and then see what that feels like so that you start to reset. But that's one of the things that we're definitely doing throughout this cleanse is in a very big way, we're concerned with kindling your Agni, your digestive fire. So how's that going? I just wanted to kind of check in. Are you noticing, or, like Lori, you're just starting, today is Lori's start date. And so that's something you're going to want to pay attention to. Like, we definitely want to stop snacking if that was a normal way of being. We want to think about eating 3 meals a day. But there's also different body types. Like, some body types will actually do a lot better with having like a later lunch, say a 2 o'clock lunch, and then not eating again, depending on the person is what I'm saying. Like a more of a kapha constitution. So I was also going to share a quiz. If you guys go to banyanbotanicals.com, and I can put that on the website too. There's a quiz, like it'll say like find your dosha or something like that. Like take a quiz, and you take the quiz. And when you do that, if you do that, you want to be very careful that you pay attention to the instructions, because some of the questions, it will ask you first like a bunch of questions, and those are to be answered as if you're answering for yourself for all of time, not for your current circumstances, but thinking back to your teens, your 20s, your 30s, like what was going on, your childhood, like just all of it. What is your norm? Like in best case scenario, what is your normal, and worst case scenario? Like what's your normal, your go-to? Then it'll ask you another set of questions about you now and what you're experiencing. And then if you want to, you can screenshot it or, write it down, like what percentage Vata versus Pitta and Kapha is your constitution, and what percentage for all of those is your Vikruti or your imbalance. And then you can share it with me or with the whole group in the Facebook group. That also gives you a little bit better of an idea of like knowing your constitution and also your imbalance, depending on where it's at. That can give you an idea of like, oh, I'd be totally fine to skip dinner sometimes, and that could be a habit that you want to do going forward. It's not necessarily something you want to stop eating, dinner in this cleanse, because we're eating differently. So we're not trying to shock the body. So I would suggest sticking with the 3 most of the time, unless you find yourself in a situation where you're not hungry. And if you're not hungry, then it's really important you don't eat. So that's when, like with social things, people we live with, and you have to prioritize you. And if you're in a group and everyone's like, well, we're eating lunch now, and you're not hungry, then you could just order an herbal tea or something like that, and wait until you're hungry. Yeah, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking to kindle Agni. One of the things that, if you guys want to incorporate some things that would be really nice to start trying to incorporate daily, not necessary for week 1, but could be really cool, is eating beets, raw beets, doing something like, one of the things that is a great idea is to take a beet or 2 and grate it, or put it in the food processor to grate, and You could add fresh ginger, a little bit of fresh grated ginger. You could add lemon juice or lime juice, fresh. You can find different recipes. Like that's one I like. What's the other thing in it? I feel like I'm missing something. Ginger and beets. That's really good. But another thing I'll do is with vegetables, you can do other things with it. You can hearty things like beets. Like you could do a little bit of like carrots in there or something, things that are heartier. Like I would say cabbage potentially you could do. And then you can like toss it around. You can add some, I'm going to have to find a little recipe if it's not in there already, and find a little beet slaw kind of thing. And then you toss it all around and you let it sit. Like, you can put it in the refrigerator and let it hang out for a few hours at least before you eat the first serving, because it's starting to digest it for you a little bit when all of it sits together and it marinates and the juices are on it, like the citrus juice, whether you're doing lemon or lime. And but beets are super, super blood cleansing and good for you right now. Another thing that would be great to incorporate is green apples. So that's one thing you could put in there. Actually, you could grate the apple in it, or you could chop up apple and have it in it. But also having a green apple, like a Granny Smith apple that's very, very tart, after your meals for week 1. You don't have to do that. And that's not a normal thing. Like you don't combine fruit with other foods, but in this case, you're doing it at the end of the meal for the purpose of thinning your bile to try to like promote more detoxification. So that's something you could try throwing in. It's, you're probably not going to notice anything. You might, but I didn't notice anything when I did it, but it is very good for you. It's just helpful with the detox process. So if that feels like something you want to do, it's the malic acid in it that's having that effect in your body. Yeah. Any questions about like week 1? Anything like that you're wondering about, or I think it's okay if you like the foods to avoid. Most of those you do want to stay away from. If you happen to have a little bit of sauerkraut in week 1, it's not going to be the end of the world. If you happen to have like a little bit of barley, that's fine. But it's the big things, like the reason barley is on that list and all of the other grains really is because they could contain gluten. And we're trying to just like stop that just in case it's having an effect, because it is harder for some people to digest, especially if your Agni is low. So if nobody has any questions about week 1, then I like want to just give a little bit of, what am I saying? A little bit of attention to week 2, just to talk about a few things in preparation for those people who might be wanting that because they're already in week 1 now. Anybody got any questions about anything? No?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the week 2, this is totally optional. If this is your first time doing a cleanse like this at all, it's totally okay to just avoid this part. It's definitely a deeper, a much deeper layer to cleansing. If you did this cleanse without doing oleation at all, then you would still be doing a great cleanse and it would still have an amazing effect. So give yourself permission to choose that and not feel bad about it if you want to do that. But if you do want to go that extra bit, the oleation that we do with ghee in week 2, and then the purgation that follows it are really just a much deeper level of pulling toxins out of the fat in the body. And what happens is we take in the ghee in the morning. Each day we're increasing a little bit, if possible. Like if you get to a certain point and you're like, I can't do more than 4 teaspoons in a morning, then just stay there. And each morning you can have 4 teaspoons. You know, like you can start out really small. There's no pressure to have a lot, but what we're doing is the ghee is moving into your fat tissues. And then by not eating any more fat the rest of the day, you're only taking in that ghee. So this is very special for week 2. And only if you're doing the oleation, you're not going to eat any fat whatsoever. No seeds, no nuts, no oils, nothing, no ghee, nothing. Because when you intake it in the morning, you're training your body that week to burn on fat instead of on the glucose that your food turns into. And so by doing that, the ghee that you're putting, I'm just imagining, it's like going into your fat stores all over in your body. And then eventually it's moving into your digestive tract. But as you burn the fat, you're burning up, pulling out the toxins, if that makes sense. So you're not going to gain weight by having ghee. So you don't have to worry about that. And because it is such a good fat, like there's a lot of bad information, misinformation out there on fat and what makes you gain weight and all these things. Of course, if you just eat a ton of fat all the time and you're not exercising and you're having just an unhealthy life, then you're gonna gain weight. But the way that it's kind of out there, a lot of times what you hear is that just in general, eating fats and eating saturated fats in particular can be really bad. And that's not true. So I want to just tell you, when you have things like ghee and coconut oil and those good saturated fats, it's actually, they're more stable. So they're better for you. And they're going to help you burn like on fat, like help with your fat metabolism. And it's good for your brain and it's good for your gut. It's so good. And it's not like what you think. It's actually the vegetable oils that are not saturated that are making it, those ones get stored. Those are the ones that we don't have access to as quickly. But the medium chain fatty acids, we have access to right away to burn. So anyway, like if you're interested in that, like I can also post something about it in the Facebook group so that you guys can read a little article about it. But there's a lot of good information out there about it. So what happens is then you do the purge afterwards. So as all of it gets burned and moves into the digestive tract, those like fat toxins, then we do the purge on the last day, which flushes those out. So that's the kind of the whole process of that and why we do that, lipophilic mediated detoxification. And it's a good thing. So I just want to make sure, because when I remember doing like a few years back, hearing about this kind of thing and just being really nervous to try it. So it took me I did a few rounds of not doing the oleation before I ever tried it. And so I just want to make sure that if anyone has any questions or that I'm supporting you well enough with the information of how to do it and what to expect so that you don't, so that you're not afraid of it if you want to try it. But also so that you feel the freedom to do what feels right for you. Yeah. So.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is very personal, but just doing the avoiding list of foods and things, And then having some of these recipes, you know, with my Crohn's,
Mhm.
I'm noticing like my stools are darker
Mhm.
and a little more urgent already in the mornings.
Okay.
So, and I bought those tablets or whatever that
Yeah,
was.
the triphala.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I should even take that.
So I mean, you can take it. I really want you to be taking it during the second week, primarily. Like, I mean,
Right.
but it's good to take anytime. Have you taken it at all so
Oh,
far?
no.
Okay.
No.
Interesting that they're darker. I mean, what I would say is the only thing you're doing is avoiding the things on the.
Avoiding. And then I've had some of the recipes.
Do you think you're having more vegetables than you were, or more of anything in particular lately?
No, because I usually eat a lot of vegetables, but
Okay.
like I had that, I can't think of the name, kachari.
Fury, yeah.
I had that yesterday and I don't know, it's just I'm noticing a difference already. So I'm a little leery I want to do the oleation, but I don't know if I want to take that medication.
Yeah, it's totally up to you.
Yeah.
It might be another thing that I meant to say this at the beginning. Everything we do, this whole experience, I want you to think of it as an experiment. So you're really testing everything out. So at any point, if you decide, you know, because you try something and you see the effect, you decide you want to like steer in a slightly different direction, that's good because you're getting feedback and you're feeling within to see what feels right and you're adjusting.
Uh-huh.
That's what we want to do in general in life. So it's really up to you. Like I would say maybe in the week 1, maybe try taking it one night, you know, and just see if it has an effect. So you have like a little bit of an idea of like, oh, okay, that happened because I did this.
Okay.
And then, you know, did that feel like too much? Did it feel like you didn't do anything at all? Like just so you know.
Okay.
And then you'll have that information. And then as we go into week 2, you're also going to be like noticing what effect the ghee has on your digestion, your elimination as well. So that might factor into it.
Okay.
I would say in general, like if you like, I think it's a good thing. It's a very good thing to wake up and have the urge to eliminate, because a lot of people don't have that at all.
Mhm.
And that's what we're meant to do. You know, it should be like just kind of automatic and not needing any kind of stimulus or anything to make it happen. So
Right.
like,
And that is the way it is for me. I mean, that's
in general.
That's what I live with, you know. It's
Mhm.
kind of, yeah, I wake up and I know I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Is it solid still? Like it's
Most, usually yes. And today it was a little bit looser.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And just remember too, that when you have kitchery, the mung beans in particular pull out toxins, and different things affect different people differently. So it's good. Like for me, I have to be really careful that I make my kitchery with plenty of water. It has to be pretty soupy, because if I just eat it like rice and beans, I won't have a bowel movement.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, and I didn't make mine real soupy yesterday. I know I will when I'm doing the week 1 or 2, but I had it more like a soft rice and beans.
Yeah.
But I still woke up
that's
with,
yummy.
huh?
And that's yummy. I mean,
Oh,
it's
it was
yummy.
yummy.
Yeah.
I
Good.
put spinach in it and chopped up onions and cilantro,
Mhm.
and it was good. But I did notice that my stool was looser today.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I need to take that.
Do you normally eat beans?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Just checking. Yeah. So just pay attention and maybe do an experiment.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I would say. And keep me posted, like if anything feels not good, or, if you're like, as your elimination changes, like feel free to, it's not too much information.
Okay.
That's like, in Ayurveda, we talk about poop a lot. It's really important to like what it looks like, like the color, the shape, like how much of it, all of those things tell us things. So
Okay,
yeah.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything like, here's something I also want to make sure we're doing, and we might start out like this next time, but celebrating, well, like a little bit of, each week or each day, even think about, not perfection, but what did I do right? What can I be like, what am I proud of, or what little step did I take? Because it's so easy for us, especially as women, I think, to just brush those things under the rug and not make a big deal out of them. And our brains are wired in a way that they make the nervous system makes a big deal out of bad things. And because we're wired for survival, we're trying to like if something is terrible, we need to make a big deal out of it so that we don't do it again, or so that, we notice like that snake is bad, we like avoid the snake. Right? Whereas the brain, some good things, it's just like, whatever, like there was no danger there, so I don't need to like make a marker. So we have to retrain ourselves to make a marker for good things so that we feel that, because without that, life doesn't, that takes the joy out of things. And then we like minimize all the good stuff and maximize all the bad stuff. And it makes for like just a lot of unhappiness when we live like that. So is there anything that you can share, either of you, both of you, like that you can share that, whether it doesn't matter, like that you're not, already doing, in the middle of week one necessarily, but something you can share as a positive step, as a win that you've had this week?
Well, I feel like my main thing for doing this was trying to get away from my sugar cravings. And so it's been really, I've done it, I've done it this week by eliminating. I thought it was gonna be harder than it is. And it feels good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really something to celebrate.
Right. Yeah. I hope I can continue
because
it.
when you're like having something constantly, like whether it's sugar or caffeine, there's that, you start to become a slave to it, and that's hard. Like you lose your power. So you took your power back, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can pull this off with my 2 vices. So I'm looking forward to giving it a try. I thought this week, I thought I would just slow down on the coffee, but not avoid it the first week. Because I think I have tried to not drink coffee, and I got bad headaches. And I know that, but I don't overdrink the coffee, but I do cherish that every morning. So I thought again.
Yeah.
So this morning, my husband makes a beautiful latte for me. So it's, something that is, it's just embedded in our lifestyle. And, and it is a gift that, he's giving me. And it's, right now we got 10 inches of snow on the ground outside. So it's just a really great way to start the day. But, I also would like to, week 2, avoid it. And I think that I can do that. But like this morning, I, seriously had like 4 sips, and, I had enough, and I haven't gone back to the cup. So I think,
Yeah.
and then this evening will be the test with the beer because as I've
Yeah.
mentioned, we got into this routine where it just was okay.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you have any suggestions on like what.
Yeah. So are you, I would say, I mean, one thing could be just having half a beer, right? Like tapering off, in the same way with the coffee, just making it, slow so it's not a shock. But another thing could be doing some kind of something else that you almost think of like, okay, there's two different ways. It could be, what is this bringing me in the, when you have it, like, it sounds like one, I mean, beer it doesn't taste sweet, but it is sugar.
Mhm, mhm,
So it is bringing you like a sugar hit, it's also relaxing.
mhm.
So it's bringing you like that. And it's also, I'm guessing, like a little bit of it's connection time that you guys do that together. Right. So like, you can think about like, what could I do that would replace those things? And so you could design an experience of like, having a connection time in a different way. You could, so the relaxing and the sweet. So so all of that could be an experience, you could say like, I'm going to give you a massage, or could you give me a massage? Like maybe we trade, maybe we do a little massage time in the evening by the fire, or, whatever, like, because that's sweet, it's relaxing, and it's connecting. So that's one thing. But if you wanted it to be a substance, it could be that you make some kind of a little herbal tonic in the evening, and maybe you share it, like, look what I made for you. Or it doesn't have to incorporate him if that's not a thing. It could be just something that you start to have. I make myself like this kind of an Ayurvedic. I'm using like the herbs that for me right now, in the morning. And I used to be, I mean, I love coffee, and I'll have it sometimes, but it's one of those things, like I broke off with coffee like, I don't know, a year or so ago. And I feel like I'm finally able to have a healthy relationship with coffee again, where I can just go have a mocha, or maybe I make coffee at home sometimes, but it's half decaf and it's not every day. But it was really hard for me because I loved it so much. It was delicious the way that I would make it, at least. And then I would have it in the morning and it would just be like so comforting and delicious. But now that's my Ayurvedic drink, and it's like a tonic, and it's all good stuff, And if I have coffee, I actually put that in it now. So it's like, either way, I'm getting the Ayurvedic herbs and the ghee and things like that. But now, I guess my point is to say, like, now that, my Ayurvedic drink is also my like morning comfort thing, even though it doesn't taste like coffee. And then in the evenings, sometimes I will do a similar thing. Like I'll just do like a little herbal tonic, and there's, it's like some herbs and some ghee and a little bit of milk and a little bit of raw honey. And it's good for me. So I can feel good about it. And it's a little bit sweet and it's relaxing, and, that same kind of comfort feeling, but I don't have to feel like guilty about it.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm excited to give it a try.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about the food. So I mentioned we did a paleo thing a decade ago or so. And I just had such great results as far as feeling better, lost the bloat. So I think COVID, I just, it just got easier just to eat what,
Yeah.
and I was craving good bread. I mean, I'm eating well. I eat well, but, I do want to just readjust. And so I'm excited. I do feel that this, experiment will help me eat less, eat slower, everything. Like this morning I made a smoothie, and I just was so satisfied. This is really great. And so I think that I'm going to go play pickleball when we're done, and I'll see if I have enough, energy, that maybe is a little concern. I'm active, but,
Yeah.
and I, know what a bonk is, and I don't want to go there, but I just do think, that I'm going to enjoy this. And so, I am really excited. So the beginning of this. Okay.
Yeah. So that is also like, as far as like needing more energy, food wise, like, let me know how that goes. And if you need any like support with, what could I add in, or, like, how could I redo this? Just, and also knowing that as you move forward, and especially in week 2, you're gonna want to slow down. Like, so you might be saying no to pickleball like that week, or, so just like, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Like I have, I attend dance classes a lot, like sometimes several times a day, and I love it. But I'm also aware that I'm going to have to start slowing down. And during that second week, I'm probably going to have to really, really slow down with it, because it's just not, that's just not going to be my priority.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have slow down activities that I love, so I can do those.
Yeah. And you can pick them back up,
Yeah,
It's
sure.
not like they're going anywhere.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything like positive that you can say, like you can just feel good. It doesn't even have to be related to the cleanse, Lori, but just something that this week that you can celebrate, that you feel good about.
Well, I'm celebrating, the fact that I'm here and I've gotten to this point, because again, I haven't made a huge effort to do this, and I wanted to do this for years. So
Yeah.
that's a celebration for me.
That is a great celebration. Awesome. Well, I'm going to just ask one more time if anybody has any questions, and if not, then we'll sign off for today.
I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Great. Well, have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to meeting with you guys next week.
Next week. Sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
You reach out if you need any support in the Facebook group.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.